Hey, welcome back to Mommy Reboot TV. I'm your host, Jody Agard. Okay, mamas, today we are talking about taming your inner control freak. So, let's be honest. Us mamas definitely like to kind of be controlling. And in all honesty, I think it's because we deeply care for the people around us, especially when it comes to our children. And sometimes we care so much that we try to control them, we try to control outcomes, we try to control everything going on around us. And in honesty, when I was thinking about this earlier, I was thinking a lot about how we don't really talk about this conversation too much and how it directly affects our self-care. And here's how it does affect our self-care. If we are so busy trying to control everything around us and just do everything and not let the people around us help us, well, then that is going to be less time than we have to ourselves. So that we're not going to have the time to be able to, sit and meditate or go for a bike ride or go out for a lunch with a girlfriend or have a chat with a girlfriend or go to a yoga class because we are too busy trying to do everything around the house, or we're trying to be all things to all people, aka really controlling everything around us. That's how kind of the control freak shows up for us mommies a lot. Is it shows up in our tasks, it shows up in our inability to delegate, it shows up in not asking for the people around us to help us and to actually step up because we feel like we have the better option. We feel like we can do that task better. We feel like only us can do it. Only us knows X, Y, and Z, or how to do X, Y, and Z. And that's just complete bull. It's really a matter of us caring way too much, and we have to let go of the reins a little bit. If we're going to start implementing self-care into our busy lives, we have to carve out and create the space in our calendar and also in our emotional self to be able to do that. And a big part of that is letting go of some things and just kind of handing it over. And that can be a practice. So it might show up as, I wrote down a couple different ways that this kind of overdoing and constantly controlling can show up for us mamas. So you know that you might be a little bit of a control freak if you do the following. And FYI, I've done all of the following, every single one of them. So, I'm definitely as guilty, although I'm way more aware of being a control freak nowadays, which has helped me greatly carve out the grace and the space to actually implement self-care in my life. So if you've ever reloaded a dishwasher, so whether your husband loaded the dishwasher and then you redid it, or one of your kids, or maybe your mother-in-law, or somebody loaded the dishwasher and then you came behind them and reloaded it, you're a control freak. If you ever re-wiped the windows, so if you ever had somebody wipe the windows or Windex them or clean the bathroom mirror or whatever the case is, and then you went behind them and did it again. If you ever re-clean the car, that's another one. If maybe your husband or a babysitter or a mommy helper or one of your teenage kids cleaned the car and then you found yourself re-cleaning it because it quote unquote wasn't good enough. If you ever re-vacuumed, so if your kid or your spouse or your partner or a friend or a mother-in-law or a sister or an uncle or a brother decided they wanted to help you and they vacuumed, but then you looked around and you're like, oh my God, this job sucks. I need to re-vacuum. Yep, you're a control freak. If you've ever had to re-clean your bathrooms, again, same thing. Child, spouse, family member, friend, sitter, cleaning lady. So if a cleaning lady or a cleaning person came into your house and they came and cleaned your house for X amount of hours and then you went behind them and redid everything, yep, you're a control freak. And so number one is to admit it. Like, just admit the fact that you have a hard time relinquishing control. Whether it's showing up in your cleaning, whether it's showing up in you're trying to control everything that your daughter or your son is trying to do in school or with their friends or in their bedrooms or the music that they listen to. And granted, I know that there's a certain amount of control that we have to have over our children when we're raising them. But Not as much as we actually tend to believe. We actually don't need as much control. The goal that I found after all these years is teaching our kids to fish. We want them to be self-sufficient, and part of that comes from them being confident enough to be able to do the things on their own. So when you go behind your child or your teenager or your adult child and you re-clean something behind them that they already did, the message that you're giving to your child or spouse or partner is what you just did is not good enough. And when a child is raised in that environment, what happens is they can grow up not trusting in themselves and not really believing in themselves because they interpreted that message as, I'm not good enough. What I do and my best isn't as good as mom's best, or this isn't the way that mom would have done it, so I'm less than. And I know that that's a big statement, but it's just something to be cognizant of. So a couple little tips. One is try to be the passenger and just let go. So there's this one little thing that my husband and I do we go bike riding. We love going bike riding. And I am naturally a go-getter. So I typically just lead the way. I typically just go in different routes, and I go in here and I go there. But my husband also likes to bike ride, and we both do it separately and together. And I've noticed over the years that I've really had to just sit back and allow him to lead the way sometimes, because I just arbitrarily just go, and I know this path and I go that way. And so just being cognizant of the fact that you are typically the one leading the way, try to let go. 2 is done is better than perfect. So you have to remember, especially when it comes to tasks, that done is better than perfect sometimes. And it's okay that it's not perfect, because what you're doing is actually carving out time and space for other people to help you so that you can take care of yourself and you'll have more time for yourself. So if you really want to make self-care a top priority, you have to allow the time in your calendar for that to show up. Number 3, gracefully accept when other people step up. So that's it. Just try to gracefully open your arms and just say, I don't care what this looks like. I'm going to allow you to help me. Because that's a big piece of self-care for us mommies is allowing others to come in and help us, because for some reason we like to translate help as a weakness, and it's really not. It actually takes a really, really strong person to ask for and then also accept help. So hand over the things that you can hand over today, and notice where your control freak really flares up, and notice in the areas of your life where you try to control everything and everybody, and maybe where you're not delegating enough, or that you are delegating but it's not enough. Pay attention, because like I've said in so many different videos, awareness is absolutely everything. Okay, mamas, if you have thought about this mama who really needs to hear this message, please, please, please share it with her and share this channel with her. Spread the love. And then if you're not already a member of our Mommy Reboot Facebook community, please jump over to Facebook and join us. We would love, love to have you. All right, so tame that inner control freak beast and have a wonderful day.